thank you guys for coming. Welcome to Lincoln University. We are the oldest historically black college and university in the country. We were founded in 1854. I always tell people, if you paid attention in social studies, that's 6 years before the Civil War started. We were already offering degrees. We had 18 students in the initial class, and we've grown a lot over the last 15 years. If you need to use the restroom, it's down in that building. Ladies, when you walk in, it is directly to the right. Men, you kind of wander off to the side, you'll see a center kiosk, and it's a hallway off to the right. That's the only place to use the restroom, okay? I apologize for some of the grass issues. I'm gonna tell you up front, we lost 3 maintenance guys that cut grass over the summer. They have not found replacements yet, and this campus is big, and it is kicking their butt. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say about that. This is going to be a really good day for these young men. We're going to get a 60 time, we'll get throwing velos, we're going to do some positional instruction. We'll do a standard pro case where the outfielders will throw 2 to third, 2 home. The infielders are going to get a standard ground ball at them, to the backhand, to the forehand, and then a slow roller. We're going to do all of that as we go. Catchers are going to get 2 throws to third, 2 throws to second. I think we only have 2 pitchers that are going to throw today, maybe 3, I can't remember, I have to go back and look at my list. They're going to throw right on the game mound so we can get all that information. Once that's done, we're going to roll the turtle up and we're going to hit on the field. They are going to be hitting off the machine. They're going to get probably 3 or 4 rounds depending on how fast they go. As soon as that's done, we're going to do a campus tour. We'll walk around the campus. It is big. It's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour just to walk the campus without walking into any buildings. And we're going to walk into at least 3 so you guys can kind of see what we offer here. I think the biggest thing that is going to be a little different for us, once the camp is over with, somewhere around Wednesday or Thursday of next week, you're going to get your son's going to get an email, and it's going to have all of his numbers from the camp. It's going to have recommendations on where he should be, whether he's a little below, a little above, wherever, and things that he can focus on in each position, velocity, sprint speed, defensive and offensive ability. So they'll get a write-up on all of that. If you have questions, hey, I thought he did really good, email me and ask me a question, okay? I'm accessible, but I will tell you, if you email me on Thursday and you haven't heard from me Friday, you probably had 250 emails dump on top of you and you got buried. I get about 400 a day, okay? And it is impossible for me to keep up. It's a full-time job just to respond to emails and Twitters, okay? So I'm just gonna tell you, I'm not ignoring you, I promise, okay? So I think probably the most important thing about this, a lot of these young men here today are 26s, with a couple 27s, and I think maybe 128. Anybody younger than that?
29.
29. All right, so your process looks different than everybody else's. I will tell you, with the D1 roster limits being altered down to 34 from 40, that's going to put about 18 to 1,900 kids in the transfer portal at the end of the fall. We don't know what recruiting is really going to look like until about this time next year with the roster limits, okay? Because D1, if a kid was not on money and he was a walk-on, they can keep that kid on their roster for the duration of his time before he gets slid off. Now, if he gets cut, they can't add another walk-on in his spot. That kid's grandfathered on. You know that they can offer 34 scholarships now. They can offer a scholarship to every single person on their roster. Like 7 schools in the country can actually do that. Okay, so this process is really going to be muddied up for you guys, and I apologize to all you 26 parents. This process is going to be really slow for a lot of you guys. Take your time, make sure you ask questions, but if you get a really good solid offer at a school that you want to be at, take that thing and run. Because I'm telling you, for me, we're graduating 11 guys off of this year's team. I'm recruiting 14. When I get to number 14, I'm done recruiting, okay? And at each position group, I'm going to offer 5 to 10 kids. I'm going to have, hey, this is my number 1 guy, this is my 10th guy. If I get number 7, I might still take number 1 or 2 if he decides late. But if I get number 1 or number 2, I might be done recruiting that position group. And that's just kind of because I've got an unofficial cap that I put on myself of 36. And the reason why I've really only got enough budget to support t-shirts, shorts, hats, shoes for about 20 kids. And we fundraise for the rest of it. And I really don't want to have a 50-man roster, because I'm not traveling that many kids. I'm going to travel 34 to 36. And it's not fair to these kids bringing them in and having them sit here. Like, there's programs all in the area that's got JV teams. They'll bring in 70, 80 kids. Like, I know one school's got 127 kids on campus right now. And that's not fair to y'all's kids. There is a place for just about every one of these young men to play in college if they want to go. It might not be where he wants to be, but there is going to be an option, whether it be junior college, NAIA, D3, D2. If you're a 26 and D1s haven't called, go ahead and put a line through that and start looking at D2s. Okay? If you don't have a D1 that's really serious right now, you need to go ahead and say, hey, that's probably not going to happen. And that's just the honesty of the situation, okay? Like, I know that, like, everybody wants to go to Vanderbilts and Floridas and, they got all that stuff, but, the sad reality is they can keep 34 guys, and almost all of those schools are shopping on my roster when my guys play summer baseball. And that's kind of how they're handling recruiting. For us, we try to bring in, if we're going to bring in, let's say 10 guys, we want to bring in 6 freshmen and 4 junior college guys. The junior college guys are in a spot where we need somebody to come in right away to play, and the freshmen are coming in to compete and be ready by their sophomore, junior year to really get on the field and impact what we do on a day-to-day basis. And that's really consistent across what a lot of D2s are doing right now. I think the biggest thing is, like, 3.0 or higher gets you some academic money here. Most schools are 3.2 or higher. You don't get into serious money here until you're a 3.4, 3.5. If you're below a 3.4, 3.5, it's going to be like $6,000 to $8,000. And if you're out of state, our price tag, I think right now is $34,000. For in-state, it's like 28. It's almost 29,000. So that leaves a lot of money for you guys to find through financial aid. And a lot of other things. Now, I will tell you, scholarships.com last year had $2.8 billion in unused scholarship money. And these guys that are getting ready to graduate this year, their homework should be to apply for 2 or 3 $200 to $500 scholarships and $1,000 plus scholarship every week from now until the time that they graduate, because that money will go anywhere that they go. If they qualify for it, register for it. Because I had a kid that came here from Florida. He graduated 3 years ago. When he graduated, he had a $65,000 bank account with money that was unused that got allocated. It came to him, and instead of him going out on the weekends with that money, he put it in an account. When he got out, he put a down payment on a house right away, and he's doing his thing. Okay, I advised him on that. Like he was like, what should I do? I was like, well, I know you need a car, so take a little bit of that money, either get a car or get your car fixed, but put the rest of it away for grad school. And if you're not going to grad school, now you got a way to buy a house right away. And so, like, there's a lot of ways to make this work, but you don't want to wait until March to start doing that, because a lot of these scholarships, have deadlines of end of September, beginning of October. A lot of them are done by December. So just make sure, if you're just stay on them and make sure they're doing it. It's really easy, scholarships.com. Some of them have essays. Some of them are literally just an application. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm going to start. I would like to open it up for any questions, okay, because I know there's a lot of misinformation and confusion. So if you have questions, I'll be glad to answer those now.
Do you think D2-3 schools are making their final roster decisions August, September next year?
I think that we'll probably be finished for most of us around June, July. For us, we're recruiting high school kids all the way to the end of May. And then once we get to May, our focus turns to, okay, we've got these holes. I'm going to start approaching junior college kids because they're going to wait really, really late to make a decision. You know, I think we've got 35 on campus this year. If we ended up having 40, because I over-recruited on accident, because I've got 2 other guys recruiting, you know, we'll have them on. They'll go through the fall. We'll talk about what their role will be. But, you know, we don't want to bring in guys like that. But I think D2, D3 is going to be somewhere in that June, July window. We'll be finished up.
Because states go to like June 13th is the state championship, and
Yeah.
we competed for the state championship last several years. So he's going to play late, hopefully, into the season.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, that's no problem. And I mean, for that, like I said, I think, you know, that's around the same time as the state games. So a lot of times you guys don't get to go over to the big show or the boys, wherever it ends up being, to compete in those. But yeah, we're with 26s, we're going to be trying to be done by the end of June. So if he gets an offer, you know, before that, he might want to really entertain that offer. Yes, ma'am.
Just because they get an offer to spot on a team doesn't necessarily mean they get accepted to the school, though. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So
So-
what does that process look like?
So for us, our academic admission window opens September 1st. I tell kids that are interested in the school, apply right away. Go and apply. You know, if you got a short list of 4 or 5 schools, apply to all 5 of them. Like, we're a free application. Some of these schools have $200-300 for their application. You know, you need to be really serious about that school if you're going to pay the application fee when it's over 100, 150. Okay? But if there's a free application, you know, if school 3, 4, and 5 have free applications, or $75 to $100, go and apply. Because the easiest thing to do at that point, now you've got accepted, you're going to get your academic package pretty quickly. You know, FAFSA takes its time. Some schools do an estimated package. We don't do that. You know, we had, I think it was 2020 when I first got here, they generated a bunch of estimated packages. The federal government and the state government altered what their contribution was going to be. It ended up less. So we don't do that anymore because we don't want a kid to get accepted. Hey, I'm going to get this much in, you know, loan. I'm going to get this much in unsub. I'm going to get this much in grants. And then they don't get it, and now the price tag's different. You know, I think the biggest thing is does the school fit your kids socially? Does it fit them athletically? And does it fit them academically? If it fits all 3 of those, that's a really good fit. 2 out of 3, you can make it 4 years. If it's 1 out of 3, that's a non-starter, move on. But the last part of it is a financial fit, and that trumps all of it. The way you win at college, and this is like real serious, the way you win at college is to graduate with the least amount of debt possible. So if you're a kid that's a 3.6, 3.7, you're getting a big academic package, and you may be on the tail end of a roster. It may benefit you to take that 18 to 20 grand in academic money and fight for 2 years and grow, rather than go to junior college. I did the numbers a couple weeks ago, and the most expensive JUCO in the area versus us, and it is they would spend about $6,000 more. The least expensive JUCO versus us over a 4-year education is about $3,000 to $6,000 less. So it's really nominal thing. If your kid's you're going to be a late grower, and he's going to be on the bottom of a roster, and he's a 3-1, 3-2, he's not getting a big academic package. Junior college is a really good option because he's going to grow. He might qualify for athletic aid that he wouldn't qualify for out of high school. And then at the end of the day, like you're going to come out on a wash on total cost of attendance, and that's really what we're looking at. When schools talk to you about this is how much tuition is, find out what total cost is. Tuition don't matter to anybody, it's total cost. Room, board, tuition, fees, everything. You want to know what the price tag for, you know, each year is, so your 4-year education, you know exactly what you're looking at over the course of 4 years, because at the end of the day, it's going to be their contribution, our contribution, the state and the federal government's contribution to come up with how much he's actually going to be in debt once he leaves school. We're all going to get out of the school with a little bit of debt. Debt's not necessarily a bad thing. We just don't want him to get out with a business management degree with $100,000 worth of debt. That's a setup to be paying student loans until you're 45. And that's not what we want for anybody, okay? All right, no other questions? Cool. So I'll be around if something pops up. You know, when we're on the tour, if something pops into your head and you got a question,